all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather, the Turrbal people of Yuggera land, as well as the Woiwurrung people of the Wurundjeri land. We recognise their continued connection to the land and waters of this beautiful place and acknowledge that they never ceded sovereignty. We respect all Turrbal and Woiwurrung elders and ancestors and any First Nations people here today.
Good evening, Kexter here from The New Blurt. If you have been just fumbling about your internet, as it were, and you have stumbled onto The New Blurt, well, good luck to you because we've got a fantastic show tonight. Last week, we had a brilliant program with Dr. Maria Taflaga from Australian National University and Democracy Sausage podcast fame. And she's a political scientist, and we talked to her all about the economy and politics, including the Uluru Statement. If you want to catch up with that podcast, that is on our website right now, thenewblurt.substack.com. You can download that to your heart's desire on any podcast app you may have. I think we're on pretty much all of them. Listener, Google, Apple, iTunes, you name it, you should be able to find us. Tonight we have a fantastic show. No guest tonight, but that's okay because we've got some really good segments and lots of things happening this week. And we'll touch on NAIDOC week. I think it starts next week on the 3rd of July. I know that my building has got some, they've got an afternoon devoted for NAIDOC. In particular, it'll be on Indigenous foods, and I think there's a First Nation chef coming in, so that should be a bit of fun. Really look forward to that. And Wency will give us a bit more tonight on NAIDOC, what it means, what it stands for, how long it's been going for, and why it's so important. Also, we will talk about Beerducation. We haven't had Beerducation for a few weeks. And if you've ever been on The New Blurt with us before, we talk about beers. Yeah, not just your Fosters or your Vic Bitter or whatever. No, beers that you would have never heard of and you've probably never tried. But after we review them, you may. So stick with us and you might find one that you like. We'll have sports of all sorts, but I've got this in the wrong order. So I'll just revert that again. Sorts of all sports. Next cab off the rank will be Let's Get Technical. We've got a few things that Wentz and I are talking about tonight. On the technical side of things, I'm talking about a robot river sweeper, river vacuum cleaner, if you like. I think it stems from Norway, but I know they're getting more and more around the world. And the basically the science and the technical nous behind that. And Wency is talking about drones that may soon be used to fly medical supplies to remote Australian communities, which is a really good one, I think. And also solar panel efficiency improvements, which, as we know, we have one of the best solar panel uptakes in the world, and we have pretty much, we're taking more power from solar than, I mean, per capita, from our solar roof, from our solar powered roof program than I think pretty much anywhere else in the world. So that is a very good thing, and it seems to only be getting better. And as we all know, we need to transition away as fast as we can from fossil fuels. But as we talked about on the show last week, the energy crisis is unfortunately going to be with us for a little while. I was listening to the National Press Club with Chris Bowen, and yeah, obviously we're expecting sort of higher prices and sort of bumpy rides, as it were. There's a bit that they can do in the short term, but in the long term, obviously that's what we're all about at the moment. And if you are interested in that, it's Chris Bowen is a new climate change minister, and he actually knows what he's talking about. It's the Press Club site. You can get that on YouTube if you're interested in listening to that in its entirety. I would highly recommend it, because it's always good to hear someone actually answer questions when they're asked one. And anyway, digressing as usual, the last segment of the evening will be sports of all sorts. We haven't done sports of all sorts for quite a while, so we thought that it was probably a very good time to do so. Tonight I'll be talking about the World diving trials in Paris. What a fantastic place to be diving off an extremely high platform. Paris, just having a look at the Arc de Triomphe, or the Eiffel Tower, or the what's that one that burnt down? Gee whiz, I can't remember it. I've been in there too. Anyway, we'll find out what that particular building is that I'm alluding to when we get to sports of all sorts. We might even have a mini piedom too, because we haven't talked about pies at all for a very long time. So we'll have a little natter about the pies as well. And I think Wency is talking, yes, he's actually talking something slightly different, which is a dramatic rescue at World Championships after swimmer faints and sinks to the bottom of the pool. Now, with that, I think it is time for this.
I can't take it anymore!
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, blurtsters, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the Blurt. You absolutely are, and you're absolutely listening to...
Hey.
Good evening, my fine feathered friend. Yeah, look, very good, mate.
Hey, Dan.
All the better for
Hey,
seeing
Wency
you.
and the Kickstarter. How's it going?
Happy
Yeah,
very good. Yeah, he's always
Thanks,
getting
Dan.
involved.
Yes, we've heard you before. Come on, Dan.
Yeah, you can't
Keep popping up. No, it's hard to get rid of.
The thing is, right, he's trying to get involved because I don't know if you know, but he hasn't been very involved in Twitter for a while. I haven't seen him. Irrational Fear has really cut down the amount of podcasts because, I mean, I normally get, notified. So I don't know. In fact, I was nearly going to send him an email or something to say, "Are you okay, Dan? What's going on?"
Well, he was on a hiatus. He took a break after the election. That's why.
Yes. Oh, no, that's true.
Yeah,
very true.
Well deserved. He's had quite a busy, 6 to 12 months prior to the election.
Maybe even more than that. But I do miss him. I mean, I miss his very satirical and usually quite clever tweets. But Twitter's not quite the same when you don't see Dan popping up. He's sort of, I think, in the top 5 of Twitters.
Possibly. Yeah, I think I read some of that is coming back or starting up again in July. So.
Yes, I think you're 100% right.
Yeah. So so you can get your Dan fix as of tomorrow, hopefully.
Good. Well, Dylan Bayan of the New Blurt fame and the New Fighters, not New Fighters, the New Fighters.
News Fighters
fame is he's been holding up his end quite well from a tweeter perspective. But I don't know about you, but it's really interesting. The Twitterverse it's changed so much. Since the election. It's just totally changed.
In a positive way, do you think?
Sorry?
In a positive way, do you think?
Yeah, for sure. There's nowhere near as much vitriol. So much
I wonder why that is. Maybe because the vitriol's not there anymore. The hatred.
Vitriol left. Oh no, actually, vitriol is the leader of the opposition now.
Although we don't hear much of him these days, so it's not a bad thing. So
no, it's true. The less we hear, the better. So that's good. That's good. But we did allude to at the start of the show, it is NAIDOC week next week. And so therefore, I would like you to tell me and tell the Blurtsters a little bit about it.
Yeah, like you said, NAIDOC week starts 3rd of July, which is Monday. Sunday. So it starts Sunday. And this year's theme is Get Up, Stand Up, Show Up. So basically, like we've spoken about in the past, it's really about, all right, we've heard so much about, yes, we need to do this, this, and this for First Nations people, but now's the time to start doing some action. So there's activities happening. There's events happening all over Australia to get the knowledge out there that things need to change, like we need a treaty, we need the Uluru Statement from the Heart, enshrined in the Constitution, and we need voices heard and things like that. So I'll put in the show notes events that are happening all of next week across Australia. You can just filter it by what state you live in, and you can go to any of these events. So, for example, in Victoria, at Williamstown Library, there's a 50 years of posters highlighting the First Nations Day of NAIDOC Week. So I'll be talking.
Oh,
wow. So they'll have all sorts of posters from the last 50 years. What else is there? There's a NAIDOC dinner, dance and awards in Mornington Racecourse.
What about is there anything in the CBD? Anything?
Yes, a Shrine of Remembrance on Sunday. There's an event there happening.
Wow.
So,
you mean this Sunday?
This Sunday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of stuff.
It's a Sunday. Yeah, right. Starts on Sunday.
Starts this Sunday.
Yeah. So Sunday to Sunday, yeah?
I believe so. To the 10th, yeah. Sounds about right.
And what does NAIDOC stand for again?
Oh, you got I should have prepared this one.
Yes, you definitely should have.
Next question. You keep talking while I look for it. I was prepared for it last year when we talked about this last year.
I know. You can't. I mean, as soon as I saw it pop up the other day, and I thought, well, I definitely need to talk to Wency. We definitely need to get this on the show for sure.
All right. So NAIDOC stands for National Aboriginal and Islander Day Observance Committee.
Yes, and I remember you said that last time as well.
Yes. That should be enshrined in my brain by now.
It should be enshrined in both of our brains, to be honest.
Yes,
And when did it start? And who sort of started it? I mean, why this particular week, et cetera, et cetera? Do you have any of that sort of information to hand?
I believe it started back in the 60s, but I can't remember all the details. I wasn't going to talk too much about. Oh, hang on, here we go. We'll find some information. I should have prepared better for this, but I was just going to touch on what was happening this week.
That's all right. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. You're going to have all the links to the events in the show notes, and maybe put a little bit of history in the show notes as well.
Yeah, sounds good.
NAIDOC. So the blursters can sort of get across it and find out exactly what it's about and understand it, and then be part of it.
Yeah.
So that will be very good. Now, so at the start of the show also, I don't know if we alluded to or not, but obviously a cataclysm has happened in America at the moment. And it's not just that Donald Trump lied when he was president. That's not the main reason.
That was a given. That we all knew that.
Yeah, that's correct. That is 100% correct. So Roe versus Wade has been overturned, and that means
bad things for a lot of women around the world. Well, in America in particular, but it will reverberate across the world, because even here in Australia, they're talking about revoking abortion laws now. We've seen Little Proud. Well, we've seen Little Proud, the deputy prime minister, deputy. What is he? Leader of the Nationals here in Australia. He's talking about, getting rid of abortion laws. Excuse me, and a few others on the far right or right of politics. So even though
they don't have any say, between you and I, they can go and get stuffed.
Pretty much. It won't pass Parliament no matter what they try in this term. It's just,
seriously, don't need to swear on the show, but it's fucking archaic. It's just, I just find it's absolutely ridiculous that, and the problem, the biggest issue about this is that it's always men. Always men. You look at the 9 justices, and most of them were men. And the six that did it, they did have a woman, but I mean, jury's out on that. But there's
You mean the Supreme Judges are out on that?
Yeah.
Instead of a jury?
I mean, yeah, sorry, yeah, they are. They are. I mean, they absolutely are. I mean, Alito, I mean, he's a conservative Catholic from way back. And then the other ones are just gutless.
Yeah.
And then Amy Coney Barrett is basically Amish. So you've got an Amish on the Supreme Court. It's just, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and like you said, just males making up decisions for women again.
It's so completely scary because there's American women coming out at the moment saying that, and the Planned Parenthood organizations over there are actually encouraging people to delete their menstrual apps.
Yes.
Which,
yeah, that's bad, isn't it?
Oh, it's just disgraceful. The fact that someone could go through their phone and find out when, their menstrual cycle is, and then work out from that whether they were looking at having abortion. I mean, that's just, it's insidious. It's just
it just shouldn't be allowed. It's just, we shouldn't even be thinking about stuff like that where
data
that you've got on your device should be used in court because it might prove that you had a period, you stopped, and then you started your period again because you got pregnant and you aborted the baby.
Yeah, I know.
Like that.
It's absolutely disgraceful. It is just so disgraceful.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is that, but then, as you know, also at the moment they've got the January 6th committee going on at the moment as well, and the wonderful things that are coming out of that. I mean, it's everything we expected it to be, but I suppose the only difference is that everyone who's speaking is a Republican.
Right.
Yeah.
There's been a few controversies as well, haven't there?
There's lots of controversial stuff, but every single person that the committee's spoken to, and a lot of it is done by Liz Cheney, who's a Republican, but she's not a nut job.
No, she's on the better side of Republican.
Yeah, well, I mean, believe it or not, she's Dick Cheney's daughter.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and I didn't have a lot of time for Dick Cheney, and I still don't. But what Liz Cheney's doing is, I mean, that's exactly what any decent human person would do. Just tell the truth, basically.
Yeah.
And so, so they bring a lot of Republicans in, and so it's just they're questioning all the different Republican aides and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, it's pretty serious. It's pretty serious stuff. Yeah. Talking about serious stuff, we've got the whinging teals.
The whinging teals, the Greens, and independent, and the other independent who's not a teal, Pocock.
Oh yes, David Pocock.
Yes,
just with the unfortunate name. The thing I was going to say was, what's your feeling on that? I know what my feelings are, and they're probably not quite the same as yours, which is good. What's your feelings on them not getting the staff they're asking for?
I'm on the fence on this one because I think it's wrong that they took away the 3 or 4 staffers that they would have got if the previous government was still in
ScoMo was still there. Yeah.
But ScoMo, I think, introduced in the last parliament, if I'm not mistaken, and it hasn't been there before, and so
Correct.
That's why I'm not too sure whether I should be disgusted or just go, they're just writing or correcting the numbers that was before the previous election. Albo has said that in lieu of losing those advisors and staff, they can use the parliamentary library where there's non-partisan staff there, so they can still get all their advice and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're looking at upgrading that library as well for for further usage of. I think the way that I look at this is that I mean, I was and I still am very happy that the Teals got in. But we need to just stand back and have a little look-see for a second. The Teals used to vote Lib.
Yeah.
Nearly all the teals that went in, all were Liberal voters.
Yeah.
Which means they voted for Abbott and they voted for Howard.
Yeah.
So those voters and those teals have a real responsibility for why we haven't had a proper energy policy for the last 10 years.
Yeah. But at the same time, they have, I think they've identified that we shouldn't be going down that same path, and hopefully they wouldn't make the same decisions as they used to, which is why they're independents.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you on that point. But what I'm getting at is of their background. And I am positive that Albo will totally understand their background. I mean, so you've got a guy that's come up from, public housing, and then these people were CEOs and doctors and all the rest of it. They're very, very smart people.
Yeah.
And really super capable. And it's good that they're there because they're going to make some really good decisions. But from an altruistic point of view, when it comes to the lowest paid and those sort of things, I'm not sure. I mean, Zali Steggall came out before and said that if ScoMo wasn't the Prime Minister, there was a good chance she would back the government if it was a Liberal government. Well, in this case, that would have been Spud.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wonder if she still hold that position.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure. But the other thing is, I know that there's meant to be ScoMo does everything strategic. Everything he does is strategic. The whole reason that he gave all those people, staffers, etc., is so that he was in their good books.
Yeah.
So he could negotiate with them, all those sort of things.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest reasons where Albo's gone, no, I'm sorry, we're going to try to make this as fair as we can for everyone. And,
by angering them, though?
Yeah, look, it's probably not the greatest idea. I agree from an anger perspective, but I think they'll probably get over it. And especially when things hopefully get better and the parliamentary library situation works out, et cetera, et cetera. So, with these sort of things, you just have to sort of let them wash out a little bit. I mean, there's a bit of this, but then it sort of, dies down, and then we'll see how we get to. So but
hopefully it won't delay any of the scrutiny of any of the legislation that comes across the independents and Greens by not having that extra staff. So that's my only concern.
I don't think so. I think
it's worked well before. So
but time will tell. Time will definitely tell. Time will tell, and that time is now. Beer o'clock.
I feel like playing the bongos here.
To get on the beers.
Now, I will just sort that out a little bit so that we can have that and that and that and that, and not just have that just there. There we go. Just sit in the background. Can you hear that okay?
I can.
Nice.
Okay.
Excellent. All right, my friend. Would you like to go first? Would you like to do the honours?
I would love to go first.
I thought you would.
You twisted my arm.
I thought I might have.
Okay, a bit of condensation happening at the moment because it's been sitting in this nice warm room. I'm not sure if you can see. This one is Four Hearts Brewery. They're just literally down the road in Ipswich, which is only 30 not even 30 minutes away.
That's a humid place. It is.
It is. So it's
I got a nosebleed there.
Oh, did you?
I did, just from walking.
Just from walking. I'm surprised you didn't get mugged. Sorry, Ipswichians.
No, it's a horrible place. They've had hurricanes and everything up there, floods and
stuff. Yeah.
But
so this one's a red IPA, and let's give it a crack.
All righty.
Okay, it's 7%. So it's a little bit on the strong side.
Yes, it is, considering that an average beer is 4.3. Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
exactly. So this IPA, I'm just going to read a review from Crafty Pint because
Okie
they
dokie.
get some good reviews there. This red IPA shoots right down the middle of bitterness and not too bitter, is what they're talking about. Aromas of melon, mango, grapefruit give way to burnt toffee and caramel in the flavour, with a grapefruit sharpness that hangs around. While it hits 70 IBU, which means high bitterness,
Yes.
the bitterness is largely offset by the malt sweetness. So I'm curious about this balance, see if it works out. So let's start pouring. I better not pour
Give it a whirl, Shirl.
Sure. All right. Where's the glass?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You can only see half your glass anyway, but that's all right. That's all good.
Yeah, it's the green screen.
Now you're seeing less and less of your glass. That's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
There is no glass.
Got a nice,
there is no glass.
Yes, a nice head there. And
yeah,
anyone who has or anyone who has or hasn't watched the New Bloke before, you will know that on a beer segment a few weeks ago, we showed you how to correctly pour a beer.
Correct.
And Wency did it correctly there. You just go
It's
down the side.
Down the side, yeah. There you go.
Go down the side a little bit and then straight into the middle so you get your head.
Yes.
And the reason you want to do that is to get rid of the carbon dioxide as fast as you can.
And release
so
the
it's not in your gut. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
So it's not in your gut.
All right. So appearance-wise,
Beautiful.
It's got a really nice darkish red brown colour.
Yeah, lovely.
As you'd expect from a red IPA.
Yeah, from a red. Yep.
So out of a 10 for appearance, I'll give it an 8. Actually, no, I'll give it a 9 because it's actually quite nice. It's nice. All right, smell.
You're in a good mood.
Yeah, I'm in a good mood. Exactly. Yeah, I can smell some of those melons and flavors. I'm not sure about grapefruit or mango, but I've gone straight to the taste, haven't I? Smell.
Yes, you did.
Smell. I'll give it an 8.
He's like, I get the smell. What's it taste like?
What's the taste? Let me give it another taste. Definitely not bitter. And yes, I can taste the malt. Not so much caramel or anything like that. Actually, that's coming in the aftertaste. So taste-wise, I'd give it a good 27.
Oh, you are nice. Liking this beer.
Really
liking this beer.
The aftertaste, not getting a lot of bitterness, a bit more than what I actually tasted the first time when you drink it. So it does linger a bit, but not unpleasant. No, I'll give it a 17 out of 20. Drinkability, definitely go back for that. I'd give it a 26. And Mr. Maths Man,
87.
87. Wow.
That is a very, very good one.
And I do like my reds. It's one of my new ones.
That is very, very high.
I might have to try a brown ale next time round.
Oh, like a Newcastle ale.
Is that what they are?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do like brown ale.
Newcastle ale, I remember years ago, I used to drink a few of them. When I first got to England, I was this is a great beer. And everyone was, all the Aussies drinking this brilliant beer, this Newcastle ale. The problem was it gave you the biggest hangover in the world. Oh, wow. My God. Your head just thumped. It was
probably more than 7% then.
Well, I don't know if it was because you had about 14 of them the night before, but
that won't help.
No, it wouldn't. I don't think it was that many. But yeah, it just didn't matter. Even if you had a few, I just always had a headache from them. But Newquay Ale used to be the way to go. So, but anyway, talking about ales, we have let me find my camera here, and we have I'll get my finger off there. Golden Pipes Hazy Ale.
Nice. I like the artwork.
And I do too. And I bought it for the artwork, and it was I think I just poured beer on it. No, I didn't.
Not on the keyboard.
Yeah, I think
not on the mic.
I think I made that mistake last time as well. Inspired by the achievements of brewer Auguste de Beauvais, 1856 to 1944, this hazy pale ale is freshly brewed in Melbourne to deliver big hop flavour and sublime drinkability. Yes, in Melbourne. Diamond Creek, actually, not that far away from where I am right now. Probably, as you said, about 20, 30 minutes down the road. But we have a bit more traffic. Oh, I've done it. There it is. You.
Spillage.
Mop
for aisle 3, please.
Gotta stop. I gotta stop opening the thing and then discussing it. I need to not open it and then discuss it.
I think you need to focus when you're about to open.
Sorry, what's that?
You need to focus.
Oh, yes. Well, I was focused. I was focused on the beer. Hopefully, those keyboard bits will still go down and up. That'll be good, I hope. Anywho, back to the beer. I will pour this beautiful beer. So what do we got? I'm not reading from the side anymore. Auguste's Underground Hazy Pale Ale. It's only a 5%er, so it's quite nice from that perspective.
Hazies can be quite heavier than that. I know Bolter's hazy IPA is pretty strong. A little bit higher so we can see, please. Oh, nice. Oh, that's a nice colour. Look at the size of that head.
So I like it.
A lot of carbon in that one.
There's a lot of carbon in that one. I'll just let it settle for a little bit. And a little bit. Do you know what, though? I've got to be honest. When we start doing the sheet, appearance, I'm not that wrapped with appearance, actually.
Oh, yeah? Why is that?
I don't know. It looks too much like urine. It's just...
it's hard to tell on the small screen, but
I'm not a. I don't know. I'm not sure on that one. Not sure. I'll give it a 6 for appearance.
6 for appearance.
I was about to go straight to taste as well.
Whoa, boy! Hey, settle down. Back to where we are. Smell first. So, out of 10 for smell.
Wow, maybe a 6 again. I can't even smell anything.
Oh, okay.
Seriously can't.
You don't have COVID, do you?
No. COVID. All right, here we go for the taste. Yeah.
Nah. I've got a feeling this one won't score highly.
So I had a hazy tonight. I had a pint of hazy when I was out, and it was so much better than this.
You got spoiled with the other one.
That was a 4 Pines hazy ale. That was really, really good.
Yeah, right. That was
6.7%, but it was just a beautiful beer. This is only 5%, but it's just not as good.
Weak as piss, is it?
No, it's just I don't know. Probably give it maybe 23.
23.
Aftertaste is maybe 17, 16. 16.
Drinkability.
I give it
about. Go back for seconds.
No, not on this one. I wouldn't. So I'll probably give it about 24, maybe. So that's not very good, is it?
No, so it's, what's that, 40?
74, 63, I think. Something like that.
63 and 12?
75.
70.
I was one out. Yeah, see, that's, I wouldn't be buying that.
Yeah. but 75, that's 3/4 of the way there.
Yeah, I know. But I'd be looking at the 87 going, I'm getting that one.
Yeah. So, Mick, if you're listening, go to the Kickback Red IPA.
Yes, definitely. Definitely get the 4 hearts, my friend. Oh, and a big shout out to Mick. Mick's in Vancouver at the moment, and he showed me some pictures of some locals, and they were not good pictures, believe me.
Yeah, right. Okay.
No, he walked down a street that he forgot that they had, and yeah, it wasn't a pleasant experience for him. Let's put it that way. But apart from that, he's having a wonderful time. So look forward to you coming back and enjoy your time over there. So yeah, okay. So that is a Beerducation, and I don't have a lot more to say than that apart from cheers.
Cheers, bud. Where is it?
That way.
This way.
That way.
No,
Yay.
too far. Camera.
Jesus. Whatever.
One day we'll get it right.
One day. That day won't be today.
No.
Okay, so let's just do a bit of this.
Beers.
The Australian Institute produces high-quality research that has real-world impact, whether it's revealing the $10.3 billion in fossil fuel subsidies provided by federal and state governments last year, or our long-standing research advocating for a federal anti-corruption commission with real teeth. We change minds. To donate, head on over to australiainstitute.org.au.
What Star says, let's get technical.
The human has been neutralized.
Well, there is... Oh, come on. There is nothing better. The thing I have not done that I realised is on the audio component of this show, I have not configured it so that it only plays one song at a time.
Ah, right.
Because as we had alluded to, I'm on new equipment. So that's just told me another job I have. So I need to remember to sort that out, which I shall.
Seeing as I went first,
yes, I was
you
going to
should
say,
go first, I reckon.
Yes, I think I should, and I shall. I will do that. Give me a second. You're talking about solar panel efficiency improvements, correct, Amundo?
Correct, Amundo.
Okay, so what I might talk about is the drones, Australian communities. That was mine, wasn't it? Yeah?
Yes, that was.
Yeah, cool. All right, excellent.
You take your pick, or you can do both if you want.
Yeah, it's all good. So, yeah, so drones may soon be used to fly medical supplies to remote Australian communities, which is just fantastic news. Really, really good use of technology. And as you know, more and more tech is getting in, especially AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning, etc. The way we're getting computers to be able to repeat consistent tasks consistently and faster and more accurately. It's very good from that perspective. So former airline pilot Tom Kasker knows what it's like to be grounded. He's not flown an airplane since 2013.
Oh, so can't even blame COVID.
No, he can't even blame COVID. Because since breaking his neck in a far north Queensland kite surfing accident,
okay,
he fell out of sky from about 7 to 8 meters and landed on his head and snapped his C7 vertebrae. He fell unconscious onto a sandbar, and the kite surfing equipment pulled him into the water face down. So luckily, a good friend of his who was kite surfing saw it happen, initially thought he was dead, which isn't particularly good. No. But he knew basic first aid, so he didn't move my neck, and he put me on my back and lifted my head above the water. Mr. Kasker is not only walking again, he also cycles marathons, and despite plates holding his neck in place with carbon fiber screws, he's defied initial concerns that he might never walk again.
Wow. That's almost like a story for good news. It's
yes,
amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it is. It is good news, and I haven't got to the tech part yet. During the long rehabilitation phase, Mr. Kasker took up drone flying.
Okay.
It's not a plane, but it's still a flying machine, he said. The aerodynamics are quite similar. A lot of technology is like being on a flight deck. So in 2018, he took to drone flying, and he started a business called Aerologics with colleague Rakesh Rathu. The platform connects to drone pilots to clients and described on its web site as Uber for drones, which sort of makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah.
One of its current projects involved the company working with the Royal Flying Doctor Service and the University of New South Wales School of Aviation on a trial to transport high-value medical items across the regional New South Wales, which is just such a great idea because these things are, revolutionising the way that they make movies now.
Yeah.
Because
that's so true.
they save so much money because in the old days they had to take, the satellite shots, they had to take them from helicopters and all these sort of things. That costs a lot of money to get a helicopter up there, but it doesn't cost a lot of money to get heaps of drones up there, et cetera, et cetera.
No, studios could probably afford their own big drone or just hire them out for what they need. And it's so much cheaper now.
Yeah, absolutely. And the flexibility is there as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So they aim to start delivering medical supplies later this year, specifically to the First Nations communities in Western New South Wales, which again ties in beautifully with NAIDOC Week at the start of the show. So Mr. Rothu, who's his partner, ran a drone business in India, and he migrated to Australia in 2018 to take up the MBA scholarship at the University of New South Wales, where he and Mr. Casca met. And he lives in Brisbane, oversees the Aerologics technical team that's based in Bangalore. Yeah, it's a lot of, as you know, there's a lot of IT people coming out of Bangalore. It's just India in general. There's Mumbai and all those big cities. There's a lot of IT people. Aerologic uses deep tech to support drone pilots and customers. We also provide cutting edge technology to enhance pilots' workflow and ensure accuracy, he says. There's a couple of pictures here, a couple of tweets to read as well. Obviously, as we always say, the links will be in the show notes, but the last couple of things on this one is we've got quite a few airline pilots who might have 5 days off between international flights, and they're happy to put up their drone and earn some extra money on the side, Mr. Casca says. With plans to expand globally for this business, it seems the sky is the limit, no pun intended. We want to create the biggest drone ecosystem in the world, Mr. Rothu says. At the same time, Mr. Casca adds, we want to find ways to give back to the community. So, they're trying to get a win-win here. They want to make a profit out of it, but they're also helping the community at the same time. I think it's a really good initiative.
Does it say how long, the distance that these drones are flying?
I've cut short the article. It is a long article. I will just have a quick squeeze and see if I can see that. One thing I will say, Aerologics takes between 20 to 40% of the fees, meaning drone pilots can earn between 80 and 150 an hour. That's a lot of money.
I better start learning how to fly a drone.
I know. I was thinking exactly the same thing. 100%. Just seeing if I can see. Yeah, see, the beautiful situations for this is drones were used to assist emergency services rescue people from rising floodwaters. I mean, because they're just getting bigger and smarter and, obviously they can be used for so many things. Oh, actually, sorry, go for it. I was just going to ask.
No, you go first.
All I was going to say is there's a little 2-minute video here if you want to have a wee listen.
Yeah, go for it.
Do you want to? You sure? Okay, I shall play it.
It's the final week of Bedshed's Stocktake sale.
No, we don't want ads. No, we don't do ads on this show.
No,
unless it's promoting our supporters. So we'll just talk
absolutely. Well, we can talk through that. So that's not a problem. Exactly. I don't know what he's talking about.
No, I'm not saying.
Former airline pilot turned drone business founder Tom Casca is flying high. His startup is opening up Australian skies, working with the Royal Flying Doctor Service to plan the delivery of medical supplies to remote communities.
We're really excited about helping regional and remote Australia transportation of medical devices using some pretty fancy drones.
From a base in Dubbo, long-distance drones will initially service the far west of New South Wales. It's a big step for this startup, founded by Tom in 2019 with business partner Rakesh, who previously ran a drone business in India.
We want to create the biggest drone ecosystem in the world. At the same time, we want to give something back to the community.
For Tom, supporting remote Indigenous communities is personal.
I started off flying up in Broome in Western Australia, and I used to fly medical supplies between Indigenous communities.
However, after breaking his neck in a kite surfing accident, Tom was forced to stop flying planes in 2013.
After I fell on the sandbar, I was actually pulled with my kite surfing equipment into the water face down. Could have easily ended up as a quadriplegic.
During a long rehabilitation, Tom began flying drones, and this business has since extended a lifeline to many airline pilots grounded during the pandemic.
About 10,000 drone pilots signed up on our app, which is fantastic.
Their drones also supported emergency services during the recent floods.
How many roofs have been ripped off, how many people are stranded, etc. So you can get really good information from the area quickly.
It's one of many new applications for these eyes in the sky.
The ability to use drones to look over a large growing area does free up the need for having someone or number of people travelling over that farm every day, looking at any pest or disease, looking at things like broken irrigators. If you don't have the labour, it's a way that you could actually save your crop from disaster.
We have people in the Torres Strait using drones to look at coastal erosion. We've got Indigenous rangers in Cape York using drones and artificial intelligence to identify rock art, which then gets digitally mapped by a digital archaeologist and conserved for future generations.
With plans to expand globally, for Tom and Rakesh, the sky is definitely the limit.
We just raised $4.2 million. We've got some really great investors on board. We'll be looking to expand offshore in the next couple of years.
Francesca Denuccio, SBS World News.
It's so just amazing. Just amazing, the technology and just the uses. Yeah, so one of my questions was, I was curious to see how big those drones were, and the video showed it was about a foot in size and diameter.
Yeah, they're not huge, big. But no, they're not. But I mean, I'm making the assumption that that's just the ones that he's got at the moment.
Yeah,
but I mean,
I can only imagine there'll be bigger ones that can fly a lot further.
So. Yeah, I would have thought so. All right, my friend.
Cool. That was fascinating. Love it. So mine's all about solar panels. We know they're the future for generating and storing electricity in households. But did you know that the current solar panel efficiency is pretty low? Of the sunlight that hits a panel, it only absorbs about 20 to 23%, which then gets converted into electricity. That's in a standard.
This is
current.
Because the photovoltaic cells aren't good enough at capturing more.
Yeah, so it's not good at capturing it, but also the other reason is because for it to get the maximum amount of the sunlight, it has to hit at 90 degrees.
Yeah.
But the panels are usually fixed, and so the sun is always at an angle, so it doesn't get as much of the sun's rays hitting at the maximum. Just imagine a magnifying glass. So when you concentrate it, it's a small dot, but if you make it a big dot, it's not so concentrated.
Yeah.
You don't get the heat. You don't get the similar effects. So you can motorize the panels to make them follow the sun, but then that just adds expense, which then makes it less economical.
Yeah, I suppose that's right. How are we going with rebates and those sort of things to push these things out, and I suppose to get more investment to get the efficiency at a better level than what it is, and what do they need to do that?
Well, we're about to find out, because researchers in Stanford University in the US just published their research paper just 2 or 3 days ago, where they've come up with a solution that is basically a glass pyramid, and it's called Agile, axially graded index lens. So basically, this lens concentrates the sun's rays coming from the sky, hits various parts of the pyramid, and it concentrates the light and makes it into a beam as it goes down the pyramid, and focuses it onto a specific point on the photovoltaic section underneath the prism. And
so the area is not as wide for all the energy to go into, so therefore it's becoming more efficient.
So it's like a big bucket, and then just concentrates it into a small portion, which then converts it into electricity. So imagine a pyramid upside down with the tip cut off. I'll show you in a minute with a video. So what they've discovered with this device is the efficiency has gone from about 23%, and they've hit as high as 90%. 90% efficiency. So regardless whether it's a sunny day, cloudy day, it just collects all the sunlight and all the light that's coming from the sky and concentrates it. So and it doesn't need to follow the sun, so it doesn't matter at what angle the sun's coming in at, it will just grab that energy. So let me just play a video. Here we go. So you can see the pyramid.
Yep.
And so that would be your normal panel. So you'll have just a whole bank of these little pyramids forming your big solar panel. And underneath.
Have you got another video or picture of what they actually look like now, so we can sort of compare to what they are going to?
No, I don't have a video of what they look like now. But what they would look like is generally, it's probably just like a silicon flat piece of panel that just absorbs the heat or the sunlight. Whereas this, you can see in this.
Oh yeah, you can tell. You
can tell in this one. You got the square at the top.
Yeah,
and it's just absorbing it. And it took them a while to work out how to design the pyramid by using different glass and polymers, because as the sun comes in, there's potential that it could crack different layers if it gets too hot, which then breaks the whole thing. So obviously it's taken quite a bit of trial and error, but they've got it to a fine point where doesn't matter how hot it gets, it doesn't affect the individual layers of each pyramid layer. And so the idea is the sunlight comes in at any angle, and the glass or polymers will just direct it using refractive bouncing technology going into the bottom of the pyramid, where it concentrates it to the bottom.
And the materials that it's made of, like, do we create them here, or where do they come from? Or
so it'll be commercially made, easily accessible commercial grade materials, so big glass and things like that. So they tried to make it so that it was easily made. They didn't want to make it out of exotic materials that would be hard to get.
The child soldiers have to go down a mine to get. No,
exactly. You don't want any of that.
No.
So so it's obviously still in research. Hopefully it won't take too long to speed up the transition to commercial production and get it out there. But I'm guessing within the next 5 years we'll have them hopefully being used in mass solar panel fabrication and things like that.
So you're saying what we have now is only absorbing 23%. What level up from that are they expecting? What's the percentage increase they're expecting on these particular ones?
To 90%. So
90%?
90. So you can imagine you wouldn't need as large an area, or if you had the same area, you just have more electricity. And of course, it'll be great if they can tie that with better battery storage in the future, which is coming, I'm sure, with battery technology advancing, hopefully quicker than what it is at the moment, or what seems to be now pretty slow. But I think it's all tied to the storage, because there's no point getting all this energy from the sun if you can't store it, if you're not using it. So.
No, absolutely. Again, fascinating, brilliant. Thank you for bringing that to us, Wency. Obviously, all the links that Wency spoke about will be in the show notes as usual. So yeah, have a read of that article and have a look at those videos. It looks pretty cool stuff. So I know I'll definitely be following up on that. The other thing I was going to say was now that obviously we have a government that believes in climate change and has taken that to the UN, and the world has sort of welcomed us back. And I think there's a climate change conference at the end of this year, I believe. I don't know if it's Germany or where it is, but I know that Chris Bowen is going.
Yeah, awesome.
They want to be part of it. You could, as I alluded to at the start of the show, the National Press Club, and I'll make sure it's in the link. You can see on YouTube. It's well worth watching because it's someone that actually believes in climate change and knows what they're talking about.
Yeah,
and they also understand that we're in a situation whereby, I mean, I'm not happy about it, but we still are stuck with gas and we're stuck with coal and certain things because that's just where we are because of where we've been for so bloody long. But
we've not moved for the last 10 years, but yes.
Yep. So,
it's gonna be on the radar for a while. We can't get rid of it straight away. Not until everything else catches up.
No.
Which is understandable, and I hope the new parliamentarians who come into the last federal election, like the Greens, Independents, hopefully they notice that and realize, we as much as we should be pushing higher than 43%, that the ALP have taken to the electorate. If we can achieve more, great, but I think minimum 43%.
Yeah, and so addition to what you just said, in that press club address, dude from the Daily, no, it wasn't the Daily Mail, it was the Courier Mail, same deal. Same deal, same owner. Anyway, he came up with actually, to be honest, be fair to him, it was a decent question. But it was a bit cynical, but it was a decent question, which was 43% emissions decrease on 2005 levels. Was that a floor or a ceiling? And he said openly, look, we want to do more. If we can do more, we're going to do more, but we're going to do at least 43%.
And that's what we need to strive for.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was very, very happy to hear that. So that was a good thing. The other thing I was going to say was that because we are sort of so much more in so many opportunities coming down the pike, Blurtsters will have Green there done that probably a little bit more on from now on, not every second week or whatever, but you see it probably a little bit more frequently. We'll obviously try to get some really good people. We've had Hannah, gee whiz, I can't remember her surname, which is pretty terrible. It's not Hannah McCleary, it's the other Hannah.
Melville Ray.
Yeah, that one. Hannah Melville Ray from the Australia Institute, and she was sensational, talking different green deals and green policies with us, etc. And we need to do a little bit of research and get some good green credentials people back on, and we will do that. And so stay tuned. As we have said, there'll be some really, really cool people coming on. But it is now time for Sports of All Sorts, and unfortunately, I don't have any. No, I don't have any sting at all that I can think of. I don't think.
Unless you want to play the Pies theme song and just annoy everyone who don't like Collingwood Football Club.
Well, I would. I would do that. I would do that, although I don't know where that is either. So, really, all I've got is this.
Oh, hang on. Add it back. The sun.
That's about all I've got. I haven't got any more than that. That's about it.
Monkey theme song. Love it.
Absolutely.
We only heard the last 5 seconds because we hadn't shared it, but
that's fine. It's not a big deal. Okay, my friend, go for it. We're about to wind up, so crack on.
All right. What's the worst thing you can think of when you are swimming in the water or any other aquatic activity? Is it busting to go to the loo, having shark attack, finding a floating polywaffle nearby? Any other guesses?
Obviously having an accident and then having a shark attack.
Yes, that would be just a bit scary. But how about fainting and while you're in the pool and sinking to the bottom of the pool?
What did you say? What did you say, sir?
Fainting. Exactly. Although I don't think.
Hey guys, Ashton, again. I want to say see you next week.
Although I don't think Anita Alvarez managed to scream as she was sinking to the bottom of the pool. Anita Alvarez, like I said,
where's that gurgle sound when you need one?
Yeah, exactly. Anita Alvarez is a US artistic swimmer who was competing at the 19th FINA World Championships in Budapest last week, 22nd of June. And she just finished her solo freestyle final, and she finished her routine, and she fainted and started to sink. And as people were cheering, going, "Yeah, you did a great job," they realized, "Oh, hang on, what's happening?" As she started just to sink down to the bottom, and her coach, Andrea Fuentes, was screaming at poolside people to go help her, and no one was doing anything because I don't think anyone really realized what was happening. And then she went, the coach just jumped in fully clothed and saved Anita from the bottom of the pool. So literally got her back up. So yeah, it's not the first time she's done this. She fainted at last year's pre-Tokyo Olympics event as well during one of the events there, and again she got pulled out of the water by her coach Andrea Fuentes. But I've got a bit of a video here of what's happened so you can see the event.
The World Championships for synchronized swimming when a coach dives into the pool to save a swimmer who fainted. Anita Alvarez lost consciousness in the final of the women's solo free event and sank to the bottom of the pool. Her coach, Andrea Fuentes, acted quickly, diving in and pulling her up to the surface. The coach says she didn't see the lifeguards jumping in, so she did it herself. Alvarez was given medical attention and is reportedly recovering from the accident.
Oh my God!
Yeah, scary stuff, isn't it?
How did she just faint like that? I mean,
I guess with all the exertion that you do, because these are so competitive events, and obviously synchronized swimming and all these other events like what Anita does, you've got to hold your breath underwater for so long, and possibly maybe she just ran out of oxygen or something like that, and just the exertion, the stress. She got to the end of the event or her routine, and yeah, she must have just fainted from that. No different to when you're standing out in the sun for so long and then you faint. So yeah, it's just pretty scary. Amazing that her coach got in there quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Have they had that sort of stuff happen before at championship?
I only know of this lady, Anita, that it happened to her. This is her second time in less than 2 years. So yeah, so it probably does happen.
Second time.
Yeah, her second time. That's right.
Oh my goodness! She wants to get another job.
Yeah, exactly. FINA barred her from competing at this event, which is still going. So even if she made it to the finals, she would not have been allowed to compete.
Oh, you kidding? This is only for her own good, I'm assuming.
Yeah, exactly. So that World Championship finishes this weekend, I think, from memory. Wow. But it's not clear whether FINA, which is the overarching body that looks after swimming around the world for those events, they haven't stipulated whether she's banned for life, but definitely for this event, the championship, she's definitely not allowed to compete again. So I'm sure she'll go through some more medical checks and other things, and hopefully she can continue to compete for the US. Because I can only imagine as a sports person, that's all you ever want to do, just compete at the highest level. And but yeah, when things like this happen, you've got to probably stop and think and wonder, is it good for me to continue?
That is scary stuff and fascinating again.
Yeah, it is.
Bringing the good stuff to the new blurt. Talking about bringing the good stuff to the new blurt.
Yes. What have you got for us? Are we supposed to be hearing something? Do you want to start it again?
No, you're not meant to be hearing anything at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at
nothing
all.
To see here. Nothing to see here.
Side by side they stick together to uphold the Magpie's name. See the barrackers are shouting as all barrackers should. Oh, the premiership's a cakewalk for the good old Hollywood.
Hey guys, excuse me here.
Oh, shut up, Ash.
Who was that screaming? Was that GWS who were going to place this weekend?
Yeah, it's whoever we're going to play, buddy. It's whoever we're going to play.
GWS, isn't it?
No, we just beat them, you idiot.
Oh, right. There you go.
But I understand why you got it wrong, because it's the Gold Coast Suns.
Gold Coast. See, there's a G.
Yes, GCS, not GWS.
Yes, there you go.
Yes. No, GWS, we won by 10 points, I believe. And I did have my eye on the prize on the last quarter, and I nearly had a heart attack. That was just ridiculous.
They're just playing too close to winning, aren't they? They're just winning by just small margins.
Last five games in a row. I think it's been something like 3, 4, 6, 10, and 2 or something. I don't know. It's just ridiculous. Definitely the last 5 have all been under 10 points. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing this year and the difference of last year, and I was talking to other Pie friend about this, is that last year all these games we would have lost. Classic example: we lost to Port Adelaide by 1 point. We lost to Brisbane Lions by 1 point.
That's right.
And actually, we only lost to Brisbane Lions. If you think about this, we only lost to Brisbane Lions by 7 points. We could have easily won that game. If we could have kicked straight, we could have easily won the game. That's been a fun problem all year. But anyway, we had 32 or 33 shots at goal playing GWS.
Yeah. How many of those were converted to points of those shots?
11 goals.
A third? That sounds good.
That's terrible.
Terrible.
So
okay, there
11,
you go.
11 goals to 22 points is terrible.
Yeah,
you want 22-11 or you want 17-something, but 11-22 is just terrible. 15-15 or something, but 11-22. I mean, because you allow the other side in the whole time, which is exactly what we did. So we got 40 points up, but we should have been like 80 points up. We were killing them all day, and just it's just ridiculous. But anyway, we won that game. This week we're playing the Gold Coast Suns, and Geordie is back.
Yay.
Geordie DeGoey of Bali fame, or wherever he was, Thailand, or wherever.
He was the lesser evil, wasn't he, of the incidents that happened during the bye?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know that there was Quaynor and Noble did something on Instagram, but I don't really know how bad that was, or what.
I think that was bad.
I don't know what they did. Do you know what they did?
They were rating women a like a rating scale saying yay or nay.
Oh wow! So what you're saying is they were doing the same thing that the billionaire that owns Facebook did to actually create Facebook.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Jordan, I don't know. I don't know what Jordan did.
Geordie.
He just went out with the girl, didn't he? And that was it.
Well, I mean, even the girl came out and said, nothing to see here. Nothing's going on. I mean, it's just, I think we've got a few sort of conservative dudes and they're dudes as usual, in AFL as well. And they're like, no, it's being, not being respectful for women, etc., etc. Now, I would totally and wholly 100% agree with that. If the girl that he was with said, no, he didn't respect me, blah, 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 this is the problem. Yeah, absolutely. But she was, I haven't read or heard anything other than she said that he was fine. You know, I don't get it.
I think it's that usual thing because it's a Collingwood player.
Yeah, especially
it's a
Geordie.
bigger story. Yeah, it's a bigger story than what it really is.
Especially Geordie, as I said before. So, but anyway, as you said, we are playing Gold Coast Suns, and I think we're playing them up there because I think we've played a few at home for a while now. So I think that probably is the case. So, but we hadn't done Pydom for a little while, so we thought we'd do a little bit.
Yeah, it's nice to talk about him again.
Yeah, it's nice to talk about when we're actually winning, and we've got half a decent team, and we've got half a decent team, and we've got a decent coach. I think that's
why we stopped talking about him last year, wasn't it? Because we were losing all the time.
Well, yes, but not just that. It was just a debacle. It was an absolute chaos of a team. I mean, not just a team, but of a club.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
they lost,
that was
when
Eddie.
Coach and
wasn't it Eddie who left last year as well?
Yeah, Eddie left, and then Bucks left, and it was just a terrible time. Terrible
bad time in Collingwood's history.
Not good at all.
No, but this year's better.
Yes, much better. Now, do you have a clue of what's happening this week? Apart from NAIDOC, obviously.
Yes. Yes, everyone check out NAIDOC events around your place of residence, wherever you are in this nation.
Yeah.
But in terms of this show,
no. Yes, we need to sort that out pretty quick. Now, we had Good Edie. If you've been watching the New Blurt or listening to, we had Good Edie on the show a couple of weeks ago. That got a lot of engagement from a lot of viewers and followers, etc. And I have since gone to Puzzle Coffee Place in Melbourne. Had a coffee there. In fact, I was going to. I'm going to have one next week too. They have the cups there, and I should have got my cups today. I don't know where they are because they said that they've arrived, so they should have come in today. So I'm hoping they're coming tomorrow. I'll give them a ring, find out what's going on, because it tells me that they should have been delivered. So, so that's a good thing. As we said at the start of the show, Dr. Maria Taflaga, fantastic guest last week. Political scientist / comedian, and she was
/comedian. I like that.
Yes. She is. She's very funny and very, very smart. So and I hadn't told the Blitzers, but it's really, really good news. She has agreed to come on frequently as an economics expert / policy / comedian.
Awesome.
For the foreseeable future for that. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy about that. She was absolutely welcomed on our show, and from what we've seen from downloads, etc., people liked hearing her. So it's a good thing.
Good to have someone who can lift the standard on this show.
Yeah, God knows we can't. So, very true indeed. All right, mate. Good night.
All right.
See you next week.
See you next week, Blitzers.
Right,
have fun.
Blitzers,
Send
we
us
should
comments.
be back on Tuesday, normal time next week.
Normal
Potty
time.
will be out on Monday. Check your blitz@gmail.com. If you need to talk to us about anything you want to ask any questions, anything you want to know. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, and we're on YouTube. But to be honest with you, we're not on Facebook much, but we are on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube quite a lot. So you can get to us all of those different ways. Anything else you wanted to say, Wency, or is it bye from you?
Bye from me. Bye.
And me.
Oh, you can't see my hand.